We can ready to start now. I know. I appreciate you. Oh, we've been, showbiz is no life, but it's our life. All right, my hair. Okay, there we go. Hi, baby. Hey, baby, this Mother Love coming to you live and in living color, and I'm not gonna be doing anything crazy. I think I'm lying right now because I just want you all to meet this guy. We get this close to you, and if I was close enough to you, I could hug on you, Dean Butler, who is Almanzo, Wilder, on the house on the prairie. I told you, before the show, I told my mother, I'm leaving, and you still blush. You still blush to this day. Just so you know, I'm a huge fan. I have loved you always, and when they were saying, well, Harlan, or your publicist called and said, well, Mother Love, let's get Dean Butler on the show. I'm like, from Little House on the Prairie. He was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go with that. And I'm just, wait a minute, I got a little alfalfa thing going on with my hair right now.
That's great.
Oh, thank you. You're looking at me like a good eye, too. Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Dean Butler. He was the iconic, I have to say, you still are the iconic male role on Little House on the Prairie. Oh, and that was something deep. That was something deep because, we all wanted an older man. And we didn't know, I didn't realize you were that much older than her. Tell us about how you got, when you started this. When you were 12 years old, did you think you was going to wake up one day and say, you know what, folks, I'm going to become a TV icon?
Wow, that's quite a setup. So, when I started all of this, I really had really no awareness of Little House on the Prairie as a show. I had never read the books. I had never watched an episode of the series before joining it. I knew who Michael Landon was because everyone on planet Earth knew who Michael Landon was.
That's little Joe from Bonanza. Are we dating ourselves?
Yeah, no, but we were all watching Bonanza. We all saw that and knew that program, and he was just an incredible presence in all of that. I didn't really, and I was watching promos, because on Monday night, when I became aware of Little House, I was watching Monday Night Football on the West Coast, which meant that a game started at 6. I wasn't going to turn away from a third quarter of a good game to watch Little House on the Prairie. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why Michael Landon traded it being like this very desirable bachelor, shoot-em-up Western star for being a poor dirt farmer. I just didn't get that. I didn't understand.
It wasn't working right here. Wasn't working.
So, but once I started watching the show, I understood what his motivation was. Michael wanted to teach. He wanted to give people examples about how to live and, how they could be in the world. That was really important to Michael, and be successfully in the world. Michael grew up in a very unhappy home, so Little House for him was a way of helping so many people who grew up in unhappy homes get it right, or give them some other input that would allow them to establish positive, happy home lives. So I think this was a huge part of Michael's motivation. When I was 12 years old, Mother Love, I think I may have allowed myself to dare to dream of maybe, I don't think so. I was so shy during those years. You picked right up on my blushing and all of that. I mean, that's a feature of my life. It's always been part of my life. And when I was a kid, no one wanted...
Wait a minute, you were a kid? You weren't born grown like people think?
No. So no one wants to be a target, when they're a kid, at any age in their life.
Right.
But when you have no sense of humor about it, I did not do well with being teased about my blushing, so I wanted to really lay low. I didn't want anyone to sort of see me, comment about any of that. So it wasn't until later in my evolution into my teens that I discovered a way to step into this, that I felt like I finally had some control over how I was being perceived. And it was a big game changer for me.
So now, were you ever even interested in becoming an actor?
And not until I had this sort of epiphany moment in my my sophomore year in high school. So I was 15 years old.
Oh, that's a rough one. That is, 15 is rough.
Yeah, old 15, yeah. So same age, I was the same age that when I met Melissa Gilbert. So when she was that age when she met me, when I met her. So I was a very average student, pretty shy, low-key, disappearing. And I had a geometry teacher who invited me to do the scorebook for varsity basketball games at Piedmont High School. And this was something, I'd never
even thought of.
Like that. It was very cool.
Just keep it.
Before that first game started, he asked me, who wants to introduce the starting lineup? In front of me on the table, and we're both talking on one now, there was a old-style Silver Shure pedestal microphone. And if this moment had been in a movie, Mother Love, the gym would have gone dark, everything would have gone quiet, and a pin spot would have come down on this microphone. And I saw my life in this microphone. And when I spoke into the microphone to introduce the players on the team for the game, it was one of the first times in my life that I felt like I was speaking and someone wasn't teasing me or making fun of me, making a joke at my expense. They were cheering the players. It had nothing to do with me, but they loved the guys who were playing in the game. And so I had that experience of being accepted. And that was a huge transformational moment.
That was a big validation that, I'm Dean Butler, and I'm not here by happenstance. I got some things to do. I got people to see. I got to go make some money, and I know I am supposed to be here. And you know how hard that is for a lot of people to step into their purpose, even with people, talking about them, oh, look at him, look at, and I'm glad I can still make you blush. Okay, so that's gonna be my mother love fairy. That's between Dean Butler and Mother Love.
In the camera here.
Yeah, I think that had to be murder on the makeup people. You keep turning red and trying to fix. Some makeup. Can he come in there and fix Dean's face? He didn't.
It's just gonna be red. That's it.
And just so you know, and I'm sure a lot of us know, Little House on the Prairie was so wholesome and so family-like, and you all went through hell and high water and gasoline underwear on that family on the prairie, and we could all relate to that. And it was good that even coming from the projects in Cleveland, Ohio, we had a connection. Our families and our communities had a connection because it wasn't about anything else except about family, friends, relationships, and how you deal with them. And you think about way back then, okay, you could not even do that show now. You couldn't even do the show. Because tell people, because there was an age difference between you and Melissa Gilbert. What was that like for you coming in with your big fat strap and stuff and you got to talk to this little 15-year-old girl who don't know crap from apple butter? Okay, shut up. Gone, Dean.
I think Melissa might dispute that descriptor that you gave. But in terms of like a dating life or any kind of romantic life, Melissa was pretty inexperienced at that point.
She was a child.
She was a young 15-year-old.
Yeah.
There are 15-year-olds who have a lot more life savvy about them. Now, as an actress, as a person in the entertainment industry, Melissa was and is one of the smartest people I've ever been around. She totally gets it. She was born in this world. She understands it. She understands how it works, and she understands her place in it. But as a young woman, as an adolescent girl, she had not yet had any kind of life experience. So my job was to make that. My job really was to make that as easy and painless for her as possible. And it was about. The audience had to always feel that Melissa was safe. You never could feel, if the audience ever had a sense that Laura was out of her depth, that was being pushed in a way that she wasn't comfortable with, I think that would have just been catastrophic for the program. That would not have been good. And Michael never would have let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think that's a big part of why I was hired. I just think he sensed in me a high level of respect for women.
Mm-hmm.
A level. I was raised by in a very strong matriarchal family.
But this is what gets me. You are a native Californian. You're like, what, 1,100 generations here in California. And the fact that you didn't think that you could even go into that, I mean, you go across the street and you're in Hollywood. I mean,
well, no, I was raised in Northern California.
Still the same thing. Everybody in California.
But it was okay. It's 350 miles south from Los Angeles, which was really a tough thing for me. You know, I grew up in the Bay Area where
everything was changing.
Our teams, and you know, as a kid, you connect with teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my 49ers were regularly thrashed by the Los Angeles Rams. The Giants were beaten by the Dodgers. The Lakers beat the Warriors. I mean, I lived in a world. USC beat my Cal Bears, beat Stanford. UCLA beat up on Cal and Stanford. You know, there was not a lot of love lost for me,
especially in sports.
Northern California and Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, coming down here, I had a certain amount of anxiety about that. And when I came into Los Angeles for the first time in 1977 on my little yellow Volkswagen Beetle, coming over the grapevine and seeing that wall of smog coming at me, I said, what am I doing?
So you remember the big brown ring around Los Angeles, and this, what they say, California and Los Angeles, we don't like air we can't see.
Well, and now, you know, you really, it's so much better now.
Mm-hmm.
40 years later, nearly 40 years later, you rarely have a day other than fog that you have a smog issue. And we don't have those days anymore. When I first arrived in Los Angeles in that September, I think of 1977, there were days.
Oh, did you just go back to 1977? Good gracious. Okay.
So I couldn't see a quarter of a mile down the street.
No.
In Burbank. It was weird. I had headaches. I felt nauseous for the first couple of weeks I was here. That was really a cultural shock for me.
Yeah. And even you coming from California, living in the state, and you go, wait a minute, this is what Southern California do. We have, you know what they say, we have riots and fires and quakes. Oh my, riots and fires. That's what we have in California. And you know, and even you being a Californian, you know, people, when you break into the business, everybody else thinks you know everybody in California. And
sure, right. No,
you just find your way.
Well, everyone's you know, they assume there's this assumption, and I think it's because of entertainment media and the National Enquirer in those days and People magazine. Everyone's a millionaire. Everyone drives a Rolls Royce. All of that. And
okay.
So not the case.
And when you could tell them everything and be straight up with them, and then don't let them hit Hollywood Boulevard at night when the streets are sparkling. And we told them it's paved with honey, and you know, come out here and you find out, it might be paved with honey, but if you step in there with your good shoes on, you're gonna be stuck. So don't. And it was you said it was a big culture shock. What was the biggest thing, especially being in California, for you when you went from Northern California and you come down here to Southern California, and did you think you was in freak show city town?
The first, I was rooming with a guy I had done a movie the week with up in San Francisco, and we had gotten an apartment at the Oakwood Garden Apartment on Forum Boulevard. I mean, this is where, you know, you came, when new people arrived in town, you moved to the Oakwood Garden Apartment.
Okay.
The first person I met at the door of my apartment after I had stepped in the first time, there was a knock on the door, and on the other side of the door was Valerie Lansburg. Do you know Valerie Lansburg?
Is she any kin to Angela?
No, that's Angela Lansbury.
Lansbury, okay.
But no, Valerie Lansburg was on Fame for years.
Okay.
Her father was a wonderful. Alan Lansburg was a wonderful.
Now I got the connection.
Yeah, very good. So she was this very hip, brassy, loud Southern California, the Beverly Hills, Beverly Hills girls, Beverly Hills